I would like to welcome you all back to our Safety and Wholeness Committee meeting. Today is February 12th, 2026. If you have not already done so, please mute your phone and or computer. Anyone who does not mute their phone may be muted by the call moderator or removed from today's call. Additionally, please turn off your camera if you are not a board member, the CEO, and our staff. I will now read a roll call of the board to identify who is present. No, today was a change in schedule for us to ensure that I was present to receive all of the information. So I want to thank you all first for being here and my fellow board members. I don't expect many to be here today, but it was important that I received these presentations. So thank you for your flexibility. With that said, please identify yourself first before speaking. If you are present, Commissioner Esposito, Commissioner Chiquis Guzman,
Present.
good afternoon. Commissioner Simmons and Commissioner Slater Harrington. Finally, the chat function during our virtual meeting will not be used as a tool for gathering feedback or answering questions from the public. If you have follow-up questions or feedback, please provide your questions to the board using email schoolboard@bcps.k12.md.us, and the board office will provide a response to you. And with that, welcome. We are going to jump right in. I believe the first item on our agenda is the district wholeness goal. Uh, who do we have presenting with us today?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Feel free. The floor is yours.
Today? Hello, everyone. My name is Sonia Goodwin, and I am the Executive Director for Whole Child Services and Support. Thank you, Commissioner Muhammad, for passing it to us. I am joined by two of my colleagues, my director, which is Katia Stokes, and one of our educational specialists, Monique Crawley. And as I'm waiting for them to bring up the slides, I will, just continue to go on to say this is, let me see, the slide should be. I'm not sure if there's a delay. But this is the strategic priorities that we're covering today is priority 3, 5, and 6. And as we know, connections to our students, they are very important. Morning meeting and advisory are foundational structures that bring to life the district's priorities for student wholeness, safety, and connection in the school setting. These spaces create consistent opportunities for students to build trusting relationships with caring adults and students as we make sure that we create those caring situations for students and their peers. Through this, we understand the importance of strengthening the sense of belonging and emotional safety that supports learning and engagement. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but can anyone else see the slides?
No, Sonia, we cannot see them.
Yeah.
No. So you can send them to me and I can start projecting if you need to, if you need me to.
Okay, Katia. Okay, Katia is coming in right now. Just give me 1 second. Do you have? Okay, I'm sorry. She was having some technical difficulties. Cora, she is sending them over to you right now. But because
What's
I
the name of the
know time is,
presentation? Sonia,
yes,
what's the name of the presentation? Please, I can pull it
it's
up.
District Wholeness Goal Update, Advisory, and Morning Meetings.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
Okay. But because I know time is of the essence, as I said, we're going through, and this is connected to priorities 3, 5, and 7. I'm sorry, 3, 5, and 6. And as we move forward, we not only have a presentation that we're going to do for you today where you're going to hear from us, but we also have a video that we want to share with you. We're only going to share a snippet of the video because of the length of it, but we will make sure that the video is prepared to show you in full when you have additional time. The purpose of this presentation is for us to go over our goals, our guidance, and ongoing learning. The things that you're going to see today as they are bringing up the slides, we're going to do a program overview for you, key investments, advisory as it is experienced in other LEAs. We're going to show you the timeline for where we have come from and where we are currently, as well as I stated initially our goals and how we're doing with those goals. We have some scheduling guidance for you, as well as how this is experienced on the school level, the student and teachers. We're also making sure that we share with you the structures and supports that we're using for implementation, as well as partnerships, challenges, and then we're going to end with next steps. So before we show you the video, we are going to, we just want to share a little brief information with you about morning meeting and advisory. So when we go, here we are. Okay, we're going to go back. If you can go back once, go back one more, please. Okay, we will start here with the video overview. This is a presentation, or this is a video that we have prepared for you. As I said, it is just a snippet, but we do have the full version that will be available for you to see at another time so that you can explore the in-depth.
Sonia, it's not a hyperlink for me on the version that I have.
Okay, so we'll come back to the video,
Okay.
but we're going to keep moving. So if you can go to the next slide, please, I am going to ask Katia Stokes to come up at this time so that she is able to continue with this part.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Ms. Edie Goodwin said, we would have had a video, but what I hope that you're able to get from that video, once you're able to see it, what I want to really highlight and capture here is that advisory and morning meeting matters for our students. And what it also represents, is particularly because we made a key district investment, it represents a clear district commitment. What I hope stands out is that it's a structured opportunity for skill building, connection, as well as student voice. That's why morning meeting advisory was identified as a key wholeness investment. City schools made a deliberate decision to protect dedicated time in the school day for this work. When we did this, we signaled that relationship building, student voice, and social emotional development were not just optional or secondary. We really signaled that this was foundational to how we support our students. So when you think about morning meeting advisory, I like to think of it as if language arts is the place where students develop expertise in reading and writing, and math is where our students develop their expertise with numbers. Morning meeting advisory is where it's the time in the day where our students are developing expertise and understanding of themselves and how to work with others. Morning meeting advisory is that intersection of time where we're looking at skill development, positive school climate, and then student well-being. Next slide, please. So I want to take a moment to walk you through how this work has evolved, because morning meeting advisory didn't just appear overnight. It has been built intentionally over time. So coming out of the pandemic, we were hearing something very clear from our students, and not just from our students, we heard this clearly from staff as well as parents. What we heard was the need for connection. What we heard was the need for belonging. And at the same time, if you think about it, if you recall that time, we were in a period of significant disruption in our school, not only from COVID, but significant disruption as it pertained to our students being able to access schools. And it was a deep time for reflection for us as for students, families, and culturally. As we returned, we were hearing consistently that our students needed that space.
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties, so try to all be patient as we await uh, await them returning back on. If you can hear me, we cannot hear you as you're presenting.
Sarita, Edie Goodwin said that she was removed from the meeting. Is someone able to maybe send her another link?
I think Tanisha is on here. Tanisha, are you here?
This is Yusuf. I'm here. I don't know what happened or why she was removed, but we'll get her back.
Thank you.
Thanks. They were removed.
Okay, Cora, can you hear us now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Hold on, Sonia. Let me put you back on.
Okay, I think,
There you go. Okay.
yep, no problem. All right, sorry about that. Apologies. We just learned how to roll with everything. So, I get back to where I was sharing. So, that was sort of a great example of when you think about it. This was not perfect time. Certainly wouldn't want something like that to happen. But I was just explaining the importance and the need to be able to have a space for our young people to be able to reflect, talk about emotions, and talk about feelings. This was a great example of how something like this could absolutely cause frustration, but you have to figure out how to roll with it. So when we came back from COVID with that 3 R's work, we identified morning meeting advisory as one of those key structures and opportunities in the school day to be able to reimagine time for our students, because we wanted to make sure that our students had space and time to do just that, have the opportunity to reflect on and talk about their lived experiences, have an opportunity to reflect on and express their emotions, and also have an opportunity to create a sense of belonging and develop those relationships. Now, as you can see, we have been building this work since 22-23. From the beginning, this work was built in partnership. We collaborated with teams, which was formerly known as College and Career Readiness, is now Secondary Success and Innovation, and the Re-Engagement Center. They were key collaborators as we shaped what advisory and morning meeting and advisory could look like across all grade levels. So in the first phase, we focused on getting the foundation correct. We were ensuring that morning meeting and advisory was scheduled across schools. We were clearly messaging the same thing. We wanted to make sure everyone heard the same thing and understood what morning meeting was. And we were building a shared understanding across the district. We supported that commitment through structure in that first phase. That structure was highly supported through professional development. During that time, we ensured that our professional development particularly focused on key staff within the school who were identified to lift and lead morning meeting and advisory. In our phase two, we moved from just establishing the structure to strengthening the quality of the content. So really during this time, we moved from content that was developed from humble beginnings. It was created initially through a fellowship with our wholeness specialists. There were teachers, there were other experts in the field of SEL who helped to develop that content. And then we were able to really expand and work with other partnerships to ensure that we were differentiating our content for really our middle and secondary grades. And then now we look at us in our last phase, the current phase, well, not the last phase, our current phase, 24-25. We're focused on stabilizing and strengthening the structure. That includes making sure that we have increased access to resources for our students and our teachers. So that has looked like expanding the resource hub on our SharePoint site. And that has also looked like ensuring that all of our traditional schools received a toolkit of resources that included books. It included things such as our feelings wheels, emotion charts. There were tools and strategies, tools that students could use as strategies in the class as well during the sessions. Next slide, please. So now let's look at our goals. There were two specific goals that were identified for us to really work towards 26-27. The first goal really focuses on student access. By 26-27, the commitment is that 100% of students will have daily morning meeting and advisory or advisory in middle school and high school scheduled during their school day. This goal is about ensuring that every student, regardless of school or grade, has protected time built into their schedule for connection, skill development, and community. So when you think about this goal, it's really about access, because access is the foundation. Because without the dedicated time in the schedule, the deeper work around the quality and experience cannot happen. Next slide, please. So our first goal was pretty straightforward: ensuring student access. To make sure that that commitment was real, we established clear scheduling expectations by grade band. In elementary schools, morning meeting is held at least for 15 minutes daily. And then in middle school, advisory must total at least 90 minutes per week. And then in high school, it must total at least 60 minutes per week, regardless of which option that you can see on the screen that schools choose from. So this time remains protected and consistent. Next slide, please. So if I had a drum roll, I would say drum roll, please. So as you can see here, if you recall in the previous slide, we said moving towards 26-27, we wanted to make sure that 100% of our students were scheduled. What you can see here is with 89% of our students in traditional schools now scheduled for morning meeting or advisory, we are really moving steadily towards full access in our schools. I believe this progress positions us well as we continue working towards our 100% goal for 26-27. With access largely in place, we are positioned to continue refining and strengthening the student experience. So I'm going to, at this time, turn it over to Monique Crawley, our ed specialist, who has been a tremendous lead in this work in developing the content and really helping to push this initiative. I'm going to turn it over to her so that she can help explain the goal around student experience.
Thank you, Katia. Good evening, everyone. So scheduling and understanding the history behind morning meeting and advisory is important. It's extremely important, but equally as important is the experience that our schools are experiencing when they're actually implementing morning meeting and advisory. And so Goal 2 states that by school year 26-27, at least 70% of our students report that morning meeting and advisory is an overall positive experience for them. Next slide, please. So scheduling is our baseline expectation, but it's not the measure of success. And so we are intentionally moving beyond compliance toward quality by using multiple data points like student surveys and our educator feedback, informal walkthroughs, and some of our coaching conversations that have really helped us to guide the next steps and paint a picture of what's really happening in schools. And so we understand that everyone wants to feel a sense of connection, and we equate that feeling of connectedness to belonging, which is a positive experience for our students. And so we asked our students in grades 3 through 12 about their feelings of connectedness to at least one adult and to their peers. And we gained some valuable insight that will help to guide our next steps. And so from the data, we can infer that although the data shows we are set to meet the goal, there remains an opportunity for growth at the secondary level regarding students feeling a sense of connection to both their peers and adults. And so we also see that our students in elementary grades appear to have a strong sense of connection to adults. Next slide, please. We know that quantitative data is important. The numbers are extremely important, but nothing tells the story like our youth. From the perspective of our youth, we get the truth. And so we've included a video in the appendix for you to explore at your leisure. But for the sake of time, we just pulled some quotes that we thought would be powerful for you to hear. And so one of our students from one of our 12th grade CTE programs, and it's National CTE Month, said that she learned that when you feel stressed, you find a way to settle your emotions and you'll see how calm you'll be. And I just want to reiterate from this particular quote, it came from an actual session, an advisory session that they did in their class where they made a calming apparatus. So I thought that that was really cool that she was able to pull that from that particular activity. And then we had one of our elementary students say, morning meeting makes me feel calm, makes me think about the questions I ask. So all of these things are skills that we need our students to exhibit. Self-management is extremely, extremely important. Next slide, please. Thank you. So to provide the best systems of support aligned to the needs of our schools, we find it extremely important to strengthen the feedback loop. And so we asked school-based staff members responsible for implementing to provide us with some of their experiences. And one of our elementary teachers, said, it really helped my students with their behavior, and it has reduced fights, improved self-esteem. And this is one of our K through 8 schools. This was a middle school teacher, actually. One of our elementary teachers said that morning meeting has helped me gain a better understanding of my students' moods and their emotions. Extremely important. As we have some student wholeness specialists, and one of our wholeness specialists in one of our sites said that I still have the benefit of using advisory to connect students to wholeness. And that's the whole key. So, and then our last quote comes from an elementary teacher who said, the classroom community has strengthened students and they're sharing and learning more about each other. And when we think about these quotes, that is the whole meaning behind the structure. Next slide, please. I think it's kind of important to kind of frame this slide. So when we talk about the activities, they're really based upon a toolkit, which provides flexibility. So we think about a toolkit, we think about this think about a hammer. Most of us think about a hammer to put a nail in or pull a nail out. We've been using hammers to crack these multiple layers of snow. And so that's kind of the analogy I want to use when we talk about this as a toolkit, because we allow schools to have flexibility to use how they best see fit. The one thing that we do strongly suggest is that first 30-day focus, because we understand the importance of that first 30 days of school to set the norm and the foundation for the year. And so a part of those first 30-day activities are really scripted daily or weekly, depending on if it's morning meeting or advisory, activities that are focused on building community and establishing norms and routines. And we also understand that schools have a lot happening. So we partnered with the Office of Personalized Learning so that student learning plans would be embedded. So the About Me section in the beginning of the year is also embedded in the first 30 days. We have multiple activities centered around promoting kindness and empathy, goal setting, and responsible decision making. Now, the rest of the year, the remainder of the year, that's where the flexibility comes in with a set of choice activities organized by the 5 competencies of social emotional learning. And these activities really promote proactive strategies related to bullying prevention, emotional literacy, because we do advise a check-in, and proactive circles. Next slide, please. My favorite. Academic skills we know are extremely important, but we cannot ignore the importance of life skills for our students. Our students need certain skills to be successful in life, whether it be college or career. There are many activities that are included in this advisory toolkit aligned to those skills. So we already know that we want our students to be confident and self-aware. So there's one activity that is listed here. I wish my teacher knew, that is an activity that allows our students to be self-reflective, to really share their own needs in a space that feels safe. This activity, when we talk about that toolkit, this is also an activity that some teachers have used and administrators have used with their staff. So when we say toolkit, that's exactly what we mean. An effective communicator. We need our students to have voice and agency. And one of the activities that we have provided is the power of words, where our students get to use poetry and just think about how powerful and strong your words are in this world, and that you have a voice. And advisory and morning meeting is that space to exercise that. Responsible global citizens. Someone else's shoes is an activity that we provide where empathy is involved. We know that this is the age of social media. And so we know that our students need the time to practice what it feels like to be in someone else's shoes. We want our students to also be adaptable, and flexible. And so one of the activities that allows them real-time role play is the activity, What Would You Do? And creative, of course, creative and innovative thinkers. There are specific activities that are project-based and include arts and academic integration. So it allows our students to really produce products to make sure that everyone knows that they are innovative thinkers. Next slide. We also are very aware that schools are in different places in the implementation process. And we have a variety of resources. Katia named some of them earlier, included on the resource hub. So for our resource hub, we have a resource hub that is accessible to our elementary and middle schools, and we have the Canvas platform for our 9th through 12th graders. We provide on that hub several resources for our leadership, like an introduction deck to support them with implementation guidance for any support staff school-based that answers any frequently asked questions. And we include a suggested environmental checklist, as well as, like we've listed before, a variety of scripted activities aligned to the 5 competencies. Next slide. We want to keep in mind that educators are carrying a lot. We understand that. And so support for morning meeting and advisory includes scripted resources, professional learning office hours, and individualized coaching, particularly in schools that have been identified for additional climate support and those who have reached out through our request for support form. We utilize this data often to really help us to figure out what our next steps are. So that's how we ended up with how-to videos, redesign for Canvas platform and SharePoint, and the development of, and they're still in progress, of an informal observation tool. Next slide, please. And of course, there are several internal and external partners that have supported us throughout this endeavor. Be the Change LLC has really been instrumental in helping us to revise the advisory content for our middle and high schools to really mirror youth development. We also have reached out to Zima Consulting, who has provided us with a 116-page supplemental resource design. And this is separate from the design that we've already implemented, but this is separate, and it goes along with some of the activities that are in that kit that Ms. Stokes mentioned earlier. The Office of Virtual Learning and Instructional Technology helped us to really build out that Canvas design. And we've also partnered with some curriculum design companies to align the content from our toolkit to those curriculums to support schools. And next slide. Equally as important as those partners are our partners across the district. And so across different districts. And we've been gathering information and resources. And I'm going to hand it over to Katia Stokes to share some information regarding those findings. Thank you.
Thank you again. So in the interest of time, I really won't spend a lot of time here. I will just quickly say and touch on the point here. It is also important that we are always constantly learning as a district. One of the things that we are doing is that we are learning from other local districts and other districts that are in the Council of the Great City Schools, not for comparison, but to really truly understand where we can learn and grow better from, and what are the key areas of things that we can also expound upon in our district as well, and learn from them and hopefully help to transform some of the best practices from what they're learning in their district and over to ours as well. Next slide, please. The key thing here is I really want to elevate is reflection is critically important. So we know that it's not enough just to actually implement. It's not enough to just to put in the schedule, but we must make sure that we are taking time to reflect and pause and understand that, one, what what we are doing, how it is landing on with our students, and how is it landing with our staff. So you can see here that we have elevated a couple of challenges. There's challenges in terms of implementation or capacity for implementation, wanting to make sure that while we've done a lot of work initially around consistent messaging, that there's opportunity still for us to really do some more work with making sure that our messaging is stronger. And part of that messaging comes along when we refine some of our tools, our walkthrough tools, our resource kits, our professional development, to make sure the same content that is shared with our teachers, that our principals are also learning that getting that information, and that also any of the tools that we develop to help any of our school leaders or help our teachers with see how morning meeting advisory is rolling out in schools, if they all align. The other thing that we're doing is we're continuing to research and learn from our other districts, and we will continue to do our crosswalk with morning meeting advisory along with other curricular options so that we can continue to have a balanced approach to ensuring that morning meeting advisory continues to be a consistent structure in our schools. And with that, next slide, please, because I think we are towards the end here. I know we went through a lot of things really quickly, and I want to thank everyone for all of their patience for the beginning. I'm sorry that we weren't able to see the video because it is amazing. But if you take out your phone and you do the QR code here, you will be able to go to a one-pager that will take you to a plethora of resources. You will be able to see the video, and you will also be able to see some of the activities that Crowley talked about that we've received in the toolkit, and you'll get an opportunity to peruse a few things. If you're feeling like you want to have a little bit more fun this weekend, I would even encourage you to try to use any of those activities at home as well. They not only work for our students, but they work wonderfully for adults too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for today's presentation. I'm going to open up the floor to any colleague that has questions, but I'll start just by saying, yeah, the data that you presented looks amazing. The level of impact that you're having is very clear, but just wanted to start with that before we have any questions. Commissioner Guzman?
Yes, I do. I want to say thank you so much for presenting this. Overall, your plan and the update is very full of thought, and I'm just really appreciative that the district is working on wholeness across, K-12. And I did have a lot of questions. I have like 5 in total. I'm probably not going to use all of them, but I
Okay.
wanted to ask, in morning meetings, um, are schedules structures of the meetings themselves created by schools, or are they like maybe like I said, like adjusted by the district in any like what I'm trying to explain is like does the district give schools a platform or starting point to these morning meetings, if that makes sense?
Yes, let me make sure I'm clear. So I've heard it two ways, but I want to make sure I understand it correctly. Do you mean the platform to get the content?
Yeah, to like present certain content.
Yeah, so if you are in high school, this year Canva rolled out. And so Canva would be the place where any of our high school students would be able to immediately access the content. For pre-K through 8th grade, it's really through the students, and I'm sorry, not the students, it's really through the teachers. And that portal would be our SharePoint site. And there's a resource hub where there's everything listed, all the materials is broken out down by the months. And even if you want to do by months, they have it broken down by the competencies that you can pull activities by the competencies. And what I think is even great, and a lot of what we found is a lot of our middle and high school students really like is, how some students really love music or into journaling. We bring in all of those different elements, or they're really into breathing, all of those different elements. So if a teacher really wanted to just pull that and start that as a starting point, they can go into that hub and just pull from that as well. But we do have a structure, like we recommend a structure for before you start, we like to call it connection before content. So before you start, you do the welcoming ritual, you engage, you connect. So there's an opening question. You may often see students in circles during that time. You don't always have to be in circles, but that's a great time to actually do the proactive circles. But we always have that structure of an opening, question, check-in in the middle, and then a closing, an optimistic closure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay.
I was also wondering, in the toolkit from phase 3, I saw that there was a lot of student-centered tools, and I may be wrong, so please correct me. But did you mention there was tools for staff as well, like wholeness tools? And if there is, like, could you dive deeper into that?
Yeah, you wanna I'm gonna turn it over so Crawley can answer that one.
I can just keep just see. So hello. So there are resources for staff. There's a plethora of resources for staff on both the Canvas platform as well as the Wholeness SharePoint site. There are also a lot of the activities that we provide can also be used for staff. So I think that's what you're speaking of. You're speaking of when I talked about, like, I wish my teacher knew. There are administrators who've actually used I wish my leadership knew. And so some of those activities can really be revamped to use as the toolkit I mentioned earlier. So there are a plethora of resources as well as the actual activities. Was I able to answer your question?
Yep, thanks.
No problem.
Thank you,
That's all now. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Commissioner Chikas Goonsman. I will keep my question short, as I think that this is great work, and I want to highlight you actually bringing up some of the challenges in your actual presentation and things that you have identified that you're still working towards. So with that, my question really lies in the place of sustainability. So I look at this, I look at the partnerships, I see that you're having a high level of work, and the question comes to mind: to be able to sustain this, are we reducing other programs, or is there a giveaway? Are we pulling something back to ensure that we can fiscally continue to provide this because we're seeing an outcome? And then with that, I want to talk about the model, the homegrown model that you've been able to provide to us today. What are the outcomes outside of just what you provided? When I look at attendance, are we going to get there so that we can really measure if this is having a stronger impact than maybe some of the other models that PBIS and other things that we're doing? I would, forgive me, technology, I'm using my phone. I really would like to understand uh, the level of investment that we're putting here versus other places, and where we should continue to invest our dollars. Because as we all know, we are facing a cliff, and some things will not always be available to us. So if you can give me some insight into that, so I can know where, when it's budget season, where we want to invest versus where we want to hold back. Are we still there? Okay, looks
I
like
don't see them in the meeting anymore.
Oh, what happened?
I think they may have gotten dropped again.
Commissioner Muhammad, this is Jonathan. I got your questions, so I can share them with that team and make sure they get responses for you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And with that, we are going to move on to our next presentation. Thank you guys for your work. It is clear that we are having positive impact in the space of wholeness through our morning meetings. We're going to go into our mentoring updates. Now, this I have been excited to see for some time now, as we did a summer event, and I ran into some of our staff encouraging the work around mentoring. So being able to hear about the impact of that work today is something I've been looking forward to. With that, the floor is yours. Do we have, I'm not sure who's presenting with mentoring, the mentoring update today?
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Are you talking about as it relates to reengagement, or this another presentation?
This is another presentation, but
Okay.
what we're going to do, uh, Chief, what we're going to do is we're going to jump to our reengagement center update, uh, as I know that we are having some technical difficulties today. So with that, the floor is yours.
And good afternoon, commissioners. I'm not exactly sure, but Sonia and her team are saying that they're still in the meeting, but they're muted, but I don't see them in the list. So I'm not sure if the same thing is happening for whoever was supposed to be presenting around mentoring. And I know that Roger and Dr. Tanks are here for re-engagement. So just in case anybody has any other technical difficulties, you all might it might be something going on technically.
Yeah, I appreciate that, as I had to jump on my phone because I was having technical difficulties and you guys couldn't hear or see me. So totally understand. But we're just gonna go ahead and move forward with re-engagement. And if we need to hold the mentoring update back until our next meeting, we can certainly do that.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roger Short, Executive Director of the Reengagement Center at Baltimore City Public Schools, and I'm joined here with my colleague, Dr. Renata Tanks, who is our coordinator for reengagement and AOP. Today, our presentation connects to board priorities 4, 5, and 7. And our agenda for today, we're going to revisit our vision, we're going to revisit the goals, we're going to share updates around outcomes from last year and where we are this year. We're going to look at activities for semester 2, what we're doing and what we have planned. And then we're going to talk about our major focus areas around ninth grade, multilingual supports, DJS supports, and our evening school. Uh, to revisit the vision, our vision is to provide multiple pathways for students who are re-engaging in Baltimore City Public Schools and preparing them for the workforce or college. That's our basic vision right now. And everything that we do within that vision is founded in hope, or our core belief around hope. So here are our goals, and they're kind of lengthy, so I'm going to kind of go through them kind of quickly. So as goal number 1, by June 2026, we want to having re-engage 1,800 students. Last year was 1,696, and these are students that have dropped out or been withdrawn. So that's a pretty big number, and our average withdrawals sometimes hover around 2,500. Our second goal, by August, our stay rate. Stay rate is the number of students who are enrolled and they earn credits toward graduation. And so we want to increase that rate from about 57% to 70%. Also, our third goal is our enrollment rate. And so our enrollment rate is the number of students who enroll in school, right? They may not have started to earn credits yet, but they've come back and are enrolling in school. Our fourth goal is our virtual evening school. We want to increase the pass rate from 60% to 70%. And then we want to increase the attendance from 60% to 70%. Our fifth goal is we want to really reduce the ninth grade withdrawal rate by 50%. Last year was 36%. We want to get it to 18% this year. And then our final goal is to reengage the reengaged DJS students we want to increase their promotion and graduation rates from 46% to 60%. And so those are our goals for this year. All right, let's talk about the progress around our goals. And so goal number one, we said we want to go to 1696 to 1800. So at this particular time, we are at 1,424 intakes. So we've seen over 1,000 students thus far. Goal two, our stay rate is approximately at, I think it's at 63% at this 67% at this point. So we're moving in the right direction there. Our enrollment rate is about 60%, 60% this year, and we want to get it to 70. Even school attendance rate is at 54% right now. We're moving in the right direction to get it up to 60. And then our ninth grade withdrawal rate is at 22%. So we're moving in the right direction, capturing more ninth graders and putting them back in school. And then our DJS students, they are earning credits at the end of the first semester. So they are enrolling and earning credits. Right, we believe in impact. Impact is not just about intentions, but it is about outcomes. And so we're going to look at some of the outcomes of the Re-Engagement Center thus far. And so last year, let's talk a little bit about last year. Last year, we ended our intakes at 1,692. We had about 300 graduates last year that were re-engaged. And these were students that had dropped out and come back or withdrawn. We also had a after-school summer program where kids were involved in making furniture and then providing that furniture to community people, and it was really a hands-on experience. We worked with the Glow Forge, where they were making different types objects with support from teachers that worked in our re-engagement center. So we had a hands-on summer career experience. Also, this is real interesting here, our outreach. We make a number of phone calls. We do outreach events, and we find that doing these outreach events and the phone calls we're making, we get a number of stories that people are in need of things. And so we've been able to supply or provide resources to students and families through our outreach event. And then we engaged about 345 multilingual students through our partner-led workshops. So we had several workshops for our multilingual students at various schools, and we were able to introduce them to career opportunities and also provide them with support around mentoring and tutoring. We do work with several partners, and one of our partners is the movement team who supports our DJS students. And so when we re-engage a DJS student, that student leaves the re-engagement center through our transition center, and they get a mentor the very first day. That mentor goes to the school with them, checks in on them weekly, and provides us with updates, and we make adjustments accordingly. And then we've had our career fair serving 250 students. Dr. Tanks, you want to talk about the career fair that we've had and what that looks like or entails?
Sure. Just scoot over. All right. So in regards to the career fair,
This year, we collaborated with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development with different offices here around city schools. We also collaborate, as well as last year, we also collaborate with the different schools and different partners throughout the city to support many of our students around trades, around college attendance, career opportunities. We also provided employment opportunities for those students that wanted to just work after school. So we had a couple of vendors that actually hired and interviewed some of our students on the spot. So we've done this now for the past, 3, 4 years. And each year it seems to be growing, but the opportunities are endless for our students. And we do receive positive feedback from those from the career fairs that we've had.
Thank you. And then, and then last year, we offered 20 student internships where we provide internships within the Re-Engagement Center and with some of our partners. And students get an opportunity to have a work experience as well as begin to think about what their next is going to be.
So over the past 3 years, as you can see, the Re-Engagement Center has consistently seen a growth in intakes. This year is no exception. We're currently experiencing about a 33% increase in intakes compared to January of last year. So our numbers are continuing to rise. And in response to that, what we've done is we've implemented a streamlined weekly operational routines and a tiered support models to ensure that our students that are highest needs are getting the immediate attention that they require. And also to manage the increased volume, we've hired 2 additional staff members and consolidated select staff responsibilities so that we can maximize efficiency and to better support the growing caseloads. Now, so far this year, after we revamped our withdrawal outreach and our not enrolled processes, and we also added dedicated temporary staff, increased home visits, and strengthened our collaboration with schools, our numbers are much higher as mentioned before. We've also partnered with the Office of Mentoring and Adult Relationships so that we can expand our mentoring. Right now, we have about 300 students that are receiving mentoring, and that number is going to increase. So this way, our students will either be connected through school-based mentoring or have a rec assigned mentor, depending on their needs. We've also launched a DJS court pilot, kicking off a partnership with the DJS court and the Re-Engagement Center. And what that is we actually have a Re-Engagement Center staff in the courthouse to support our students that are involved in the juvenile justice system right there. So they don't have to come down to the Re-Engagement Center. We actually are there to support them, and that's going extremely well. In addition, we have distributed once again a number of resources to our students and families. We're finding that that's growing each year, the need. We've also implemented that targeted outreach to our withdrawn students. We've provided life skills coaching, expanded that to some identified students as well. And then we wanted to focus on sustainability. So all of the Re-Engagement Center staff just recently participated in life skills facilitation coaching so that we have our own materials and support to support our students around life skills moving forward. Now, when we talk about our intakes and withdrawals by grade and age, I think this slide is very compelling. As you can see, the majority of our students that we are bringing back are ninth graders, 548. And if you look at the age of those students, most of our students are 18 years old. They're 17 and 18 years of age. So when you look at that, you notice many of our students are repeat ninth graders. So many of the supports that we're putting in place are around our repeat ninth graders. That's one of our focus areas that we're trying to zone in. And we're also collaborating with On Track to Graduation to kind of support some of our ninth graders in getting back on track.
Okay, so let's take a look at what we have planned and what we're actively doing second semester. So this slide talks about some of the things that Dr. Tanks may have mentioned that carries over to second semester. So we talked about our career fair in collaboration with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. We also are planning a parenting and pregnant teen workshop in March. This is to support our young people who are parents. And what do we do at this workshop? We teach life lessons, and then we provide resources for them to support them with their child, or to support them through the process of their pregnancy. So, and then we have a Hope Academy. Now, when Dr. Tanks talk about the ninth graders, the multiple repeaters of ninth graders, we decided to create a Hope Academy. Remember, I said hope is the foundation, it's our core belief. And what we did the first semester is we had a Hope Academy for parents. It was a workshop for parents of repeat ninth graders. And what we did was to share what supports looks like in the district. And so we taught them how to read a transcript. We taught them how to read the graduation status report. We taught them how to look at the transcript and the credits earned and what the attendance looked like. So we went through all of that process with them. And then we decided to address some of their needs. And so some of them had needs with housing, some of them had needs with food insecurities, and we provided those things for them at Hope Academy. We're planning to do this a second time this semester for repeat ninth graders. And what we found, when you invest in the family as well as the student, the hope level increases and the student's more apt to attend school and try harder. That's what we found through the work that we do, and especially at the Hope Academy. And then we work with Habitat for Humanity to provide some of our students from the DJS process with service learning hours and potential career opportunities. And then Dr. Tanks mentioned the life skills coaching for our staff. And then we restructured our transition center. And I want to say this about the Transition Center. So when students come through our DJS program, some of them mentally haven't, kind of thought about what school is really going to be about as they reenter. The Transition Center helps them with that mindset. But the Transition Center also addresses some of the deficiencies in reading and in math. So we have an academic component there to kind of support them. This is what school is going to be like when you return. And then we do life skills coaching within that session. And after they finish, they stay with us about 3 to 5 days. I think we restructured to 5 days. And then we have an assessment with them at the end. And we ask them 2 important questions. Do you think you're ready to do school? And most of them say yes. And the number one thing they give us, are you all going to still support us? Is the re-engagement staff or somebody going to support us? And the question to that is yes. Remember I said the mentors go with the students? That is what happens. And then the final thing is this. Within the Transition Center, we ask them, what else is missing? What else do we need to do? And they give us ideas how to improve the Transition Center. So I think that's very important. When it comes to ninth grade focus, right, deep in the ninth grade, I know we have On Track to Graduate, and we are working with district office and that office, secondary innovation, success and innovation. And we're deepening the focus with our ninth graders. We're deepening the focus by providing intentional mentoring service, the life skill coaching, and then we have incentive based. So if you do well in as you come back to school, you get certain types of incentives, right? Maybe you go to school for a month without missing a day, 30 days. So you will receive an incentive, right? And then the other thing that we do is some of our students cannot do day school because of life circumstances. And so we have an evening school that some of our overage ninth graders participate in. So that's kind of what we're doing to support them. Dr. Tanks had mentioned our multilingual students and what we're doing to support them. We had these workshops. We also we hired this summer a multilingual liaison just to focus in on those students and helping them get engaged in summer school, helping them set up for the upcoming school year. And so we did that, and that was intentional. And then we offer flexible scheduling for them. And so some of them have to work and they have to provide for their family. So we have to do a lot of different things around scheduling. So sometimes they're working and we have to kind of build the schedule around their work schedule because they just can't do day school. So that's kind of how we support them. All right, and what you have here is some of our Department of Juvenile Service data. And we are in collaboration with judges. When Dr. Tanks talked about the pilot earlier, we pilot this program with re-engagement in the courts and the judges in October for 3 days. And what we found, because what we found was that we were addressing a challenge. When a student was released or coming out of a detention center, what we wanted to do is to make sure we got that student as soon as possible. Due to transportation issues, due to communication issues, we weren't seeing students soon enough. And so what we decided to do is, how would this work if re-engagement came to the courthouse? And so we did it for 3 days. It was a successful 3 days. So every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, we are in the courthouse meeting with young people, re-engaging them right there. And what we have found is that they are more likely to come to school the very next day because they respond to the support and the urgency presence of the district being there. So I think that's very important and that's key. And so here we have exactly what we do. We have like 3 DJS specialists. We work with the movement team to provide the mentoring. And what you see there is the data from that. For example, the movement team helps us to provide hygiene. We give haircuts. There's transportation. We just had an after-school program for the students. And what we do is we had guest speakers come in. We provided them with a work experience, and we just paid for Uber all over the city to get them home and to the various places. And so that's been rewarding. We talked about the outreach. These are just the numbers connected to outreach, right, Dr. Tanks?
All righty. So we have made about 3,000 calls, and that number is growing every day. As far as home visits, we generally will conduct home visits for our students who are either overage, undercredited, they've withdrawn from school, or there's a chance that they may withdraw. We also have centralized visits that come through our office, and those visits are from schools where students are getting off task or they haven't attended in so many days and they request home visits. So we conduct those as well. A number of our referrals come via online, and so we've had about 100 referrals from families, community members. Anyone can make a referral online. And then each year we make sure that we are attending a number of events throughout the community, whether it's workshops, fairs, or just partnering with the mayor's office with some of their engagement activities. So we definitely try our best to make sure that we're out in the community to support students and families.
And then our last piece is our evening school, which is a major piece in supporting young people who cannot work. I mean, who cannot attend school during the day because they have to work, and some of them are just responsible for themselves. And so these classes start their virtual program. Classes are from Monday through Thursday from 4:15 to 8:30. Friday is an asynchronous day where the teacher checks in with them and even provides some of the outreach that we talked about. There are also, our evening school is about 110 students are enrolled right now. And they're taught by certified teachers. And I think at the winter graduation, we had about 11 graduates from the evening school. If they were not participating in the evening school, they would not have graduated because of their life circumstances. And so evening school has been very important in the lives of the young people. And then there's some successes. There are the successes and barriers. I won't read them. But the next steps is something I want to talk about. We continually want to work with community agencies to support with parenting resources that the young people need. We have to track attendance patterns through their work hours, their childcare needs that we have to take into consideration. And also, when we do our surveys to students, they help us refine and restructure the evening school. And here's some of the data. Last year, we had 56 graduates. That's been the highest since the previous 2 years. And then we look at the enrollment. Enrollment fluctuates depending on what is going on in the student's life. And so at this point, we're at 110. But I know, in the last 3 weeks, we've had an influx of students coming in, and many of them may require evening school based on their life circumstances. The one thing I want to say is this, as we look at this data and as we think about this work day in and day out, all that we do to support these young people, we're still in a reactive mode. And so our goal moving forward is, how do we make this proactive? And so that's the challenge before us. How do we get to the withdrawn student before they withdraw? How do we get to the not enrolled student before they not enroll? And so that's where we're working. So we have to refine our structure to really dig deeper and being more proactive. Thank you.
Truly appreciate this presentation. Before I open it up to any questions from our commissioners, I just want to state maybe the obvious, but maybe not. The Reengagement Center is currently producing a 33% growth year over year, which is absolutely amazing. Some of the things that stood out to me was the enrollment rate being met at the 70%, the 70% mark. The work that's being done with our court system and our judges directly is producing exactly what we want to see. And the request around us moving towards being reactive is definitely heard. And before I give it to any other commission, I just wanted to state that, because this work is one in which is tough, and you guys are carrying it, and that should be recognized. So I'm going to open it up. Commissioner Chicas Guzman, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Just as you mentioned, I am just extremely proud that, you guys are growing the engagement center and the community within it every year more and more. I just want to thank you all for your hard work and, ensuring to include families within the process and ensuring to be as flexible as you can with every single student and ensuring that they get the well-deserved education. You guys are all truly really living up to the name Re-Engagement Center, and I'm just really happy and keep going. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, Commissioner. So I'm going to jump right in with a couple, and these are based in us getting upstream and how we can support in the work that you're already doing. So one of the concerning points here is where we're losing students, and we see that dropout place in the ninth grade, and you guys are doing amazing work there. But to get upstream, do we have any level of engagement? Do we have processes in place where we can start to assess prior to the eighth grade? And if we do, can you speak towards that? And if we don't, what could that potentially look like? Just to give us some insight as commissioners.
Oh, so I will start to answer your question this way. As we have an overage middle school program for eighth graders who should be in high school. And one of the things that we did was to kind of support that program. But to answer your question, is the level of engagement that is needed at eighth grade needs to transition to ninth grade. And what I mean by that, when we promote a student to eighth grade that had to be re-engaged at eighth grade, and we send them to ninth grade, that mentorship, that support needs to follow them that entire year, because what we have noticed, if it doesn't, they default back to old attendance patterns and eventually get withdrawn in the ninth grade. And so it's how do we start at eighth grade with the supports, because students show us that they're about to withdraw before they withdraw. That's why we got to get proactive. And so we got to put those pieces in place at eighth grade and track them at ninth grade, because if we can get them through ninth grade, they will graduate.
I appreciate that. Follow-up question to that, and you identified that the mentor stays with the student when they transition back in school, which is consistency. The work has to remain consistent. So how long, when that student returns back to their school setting, does that mentor stay along to support them during that process?
So if I understand your question, so they get, for the most part, and this is on the very first day, depending on what's the status of the student. For a DJS student, it's the first day and their weekly visits. For students who are not a part of that process, we try to have a mentor. If they request a mentor at that time, they get the mentor, and then there's a weekly process with updates back to us. So it depends on the status, because we have to have the capacity to provide more mentors. And Dr. Tanks is in a process now working with Dr. Rudisil to increase our mentoring support, because more students are requesting that. And so it's right now from the re-engagement process. If you're a DJS student, you get it that first day throughout the year. If you're not a DJS student, you get the mentor and you get weekly check-ins. We also have staff going in every week for the students that we have re-engaged, and they look at 8 components, right? And if we start to see one of those 8 components trending in the wrong direction, such as attendance, then we're able to step in and provide some supports. So yes, there's a lot of moving pieces, but that's what we're doing.
I have two more questions. I know we have a I know we have a partner, but this is an important work, and I think that I would be remiss if I don't get to some fiscal concerns. So often, the cost of this work is not really identified in a place of what we lose out on, and I think us identifying when we lose out on students, we're not just losing out on dollars coming to our school, we're losing the human potential that our students provide us. The fiscal side of this is important to ensure that we can continue to push to be able to strengthen what you're doing. And that's where I'm going here. So, not today, but if we could receive this in writing, what is the cost, the unit cost of a successful re-engagement? Now, that's a tough question, but it would certainly help. So I'm going to ask a tough question, but if you can respond to that in writing, that I think would be helpful for this committee moving forward in our work. And just for the sake of time, I want to understand around home visits real quick. Home visits, we did 857 home visits. Amazing work. Who's conducting these home visits? Is that our staff or is that a partner working with re-engagement?
It's a combination of both. We have a partner. We also have re-engagement center staff. It's just based on the needs of our students. So we have partners that actually conduct the home visits as well as some of our staff. They'll go out and support home visits as well.
Okay. Well, for the sake of time, I'm going to leave it there. As you can see, this work is very important to this committee. We need to see you more often so that we can have this chance to be able to dive in and hear the level of success that you are having. So thank you very much for this presentation. And we are going to move on to our community partner. We thank you for being with us and your patience. We have Young Men United Mentoring Program here with us, joining us during our meeting today. Are you able to come on? I know we've been having some challenges, including myself.
Can you hear me?
I can. Great.
Yay. So they are a part of what we're sharing today with the whole team. So
Okay, great.
Christopher, you're still there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. Welcome to the world of work. This is what happens with the adults. When adults are adulting, we get all disconnected and stuff. So thank you for your time, and thank you for just getting my thing up. We won't be before you long. We're going to be short and sweet. So essentially what you see in front of you, hold on, let me get my clicker together. All right, so good afternoon to members of the Safety and Wholeness Committee. I'm Dr. Sophia Rudisil Holmes, the student mentoring lead for our district. Today, I'll provide an update on the progress of mentoring on MAR. We are on the Secondary Success and Innovation team in the Office of Academics. As you see, what we'll be talking about today is essentially high level, the alignment of with our board priorities. Then we'll review progress, practice, and cross-departmental collaboration that you've already heard from some of my colleagues. We'll share impact data and key learnings from our programs and point you to a place where you can see ongoing mentoring in action with stories from our students. And then we're going to end our time together hearing from Christopher Frazier, a senior from Patterson High School, who is participating in our Young Men United, one of our mentoring program partners. So how we are connected to the board. Essentially, these are 4 of the 7 board priorities that we align with, specifically engaging community partners to contribute to student success, providing equal access to mentoring resources across schools, expanding high quality educational programming, and advancing the work through inclusive, culturally responsive mentoring practices. And then with our district goals, within the 4 main goals, as members of the Office of Secondary Success, we impact all 4. Research shows mentored students have higher attendance, better academic outcomes, as you've heard my colleagues talk about, and increased graduation rates. MAR's position to both proactively and reactively support progress across all the board goals for our district. So we're putting a structure in place for our entire district. Within the Maryland Blueprint, we're aligned with Pillar 3. Our mentoring ecosystem provides the relationships and guidance students need for post-secondary success. Pillar 4, supporting the wraparound services and community support. Essentially, we're focused on ensuring all the students have access to a caring adult who can help them navigate educational and career pathways. And so with that in mind, our goal has not changed. 100% of our students will have access to a mentor by 27-28. And I'm talking about access, making sure that our infrastructure is in place to do that. This is not about numbers. It's about ensuring every student has a caring, consistent adult relationship. We're building an infrastructure and partnership now to make the student mentoring ecosystem a reality. And so quickly, I'm going to talk about the progress we've made and how we're working across the district. So as you can see, we've seen more than a 10-time increase in the mentored students. Mentor recruitment surged. Partnership expansion continues to strengthen our ecosystem. This growth reflects both increased demand and our improved capacity to connect students with quality mentors. We expect these numbers to reflect more accurate totals in the spring and summer as our program partners continue submitting data. Our practice is built on 4 key areas in our district students mentoring ecosystem: standardized mentor and training, coaching, which for us, it is about the consistency and effectiveness across all mentoring programming, all programming being grounded in research. So that is that relationship building, consistent contact, structured activities. We leverage corporate, university, community partners to scale without proportional costs. Right now, we are at just about $12 per cause for 77,000 young people. And that's mainly because we are a zero-based budget. We only have the budget for the staff that does the work. And then in terms of our 4th practice, the specialists that I just alluded to, we recognize that the practice of understanding the unique school context and tailored partnership approaches help with the coordination. So this is how we've been collaborating. There's 2 areas that we're looking at. MAR's been working deeply to embed access to student mentoring across our district, collaborating with various offices to provide support with mentor recruitment, onboarding, training, and the expansion of mentoring partner options. The cross-functional approach ensures student mentoring is woven throughout our district student support system. As members of the academic office, we've trained apprenticeship supervisors, teachers, and most recently, we trained mentors supporting students affected by disproportionate disciplinary actions, the CCEIS, the Comprehensive Coordinated Early Intervention Services work. And then the key impacts, and I'm just moving a little bit fast because I know that I have a young man who has been waiting patiently. So let's look at the real world impact of these mentoring relationships. Part of the infrastructure we built was to really get an understanding of what works well at city schools. We know what works well nationally, we know what works well locally, but it's how do we build a sustainable, scalable infrastructure that can pivot and be agile to the work needed in serving our young people well. What we know is that national research for mentors shows powerful outcomes. Students who meet regularly with mentors are 52% less likely to skip school, 55% more likely to enroll in college. And these aren't just statistics, they represent life-changing relationships, as you've heard my colleagues talk about, and expanded opportunities for our young people. So what we're seeing with some of our programs is and this is through our partnership leveraged model approach, specifically with College Success. Last year, I think this group, if you remember, you heard from Travis Pennington, a student at City. He was participating in the Near Mentoring Program, as you see in the first column, with a federal work study student, which is another cost-effective approach. We saw 100% of those students college enroll. I mentor enroll 63% of their students in college, with students returning for year two at a rate of 24 points higher than their peers. In terms of academic achievement, the federal work study program increased the IB full diploma pass rate for African American boys from 6% to 10% and produced one Bill Gates scholar. 83% of the mentees reported improved performance with student development. Young Men United, who you'll hear more about today, 100% increased in confidence. Thread reached a 65% graduation rate with 100% retention. Thread invites students into the community from the bottom 25% during the first semester of ninth grade. And then I mentor built strong mentor relationships with 90% of the participants. And then with career readiness, 100% of the I mentor students explored career pathways and 91% learned about new careers. We're working with Burke right now and OAA to examine the impact of these school-based mentoring programs on student achievement, school engagement, and post-secondary outcomes. And so the key learnings that we're seeing when we think about this proactive mentoring ecosystem that both cares for our immediate current needs and where we're headed in the next 15, 20 years, one of the two things that we are learning in our student mentoring ecosystem is that transparent evaluation criteria are essential, which we are putting that infrastructure in place. Clear standards on the relationship quality, safety, and confidentiality boost programming effectiveness. And what we know is inclusive and tailored approaches work, as you heard from my colleagues. Customized mentoring methods meet diverse student needs and address practical implementation challenges. We're applying these learnings as we scale to more schools. And so as I close, our most powerful stories are coming directly from our students. I encourage you to visit our Instagram to hear students describe their mentoring experiences in their own words. These authentic student voices capture what data can't fully convey, the transformational power of consistent, caring relationships. If committee members have devices, you can follow us now or visit us later to explore student stories and program highlights. This account will showcase the reality of student mentoring across city schools. Today, we're grateful to have one of our brilliant scholars share their experience with mentoring, introducing Christopher Frazier. I don't believe William made it on here. He is the program lead for Young Men United. So Christopher, it's going to be you and I. He's a senior at Patterson High School and absolutely brilliant. So Christopher, I'm going to stop sharing so that you folks can see your face. And if you are there, yes. So Christopher, tell us when did you start with the program and what have you gained from the program and what is it that you want to just tell us?
I started with Young Men United in my 10th grade year, and I gained they changed my entire mindset from ninth grade, because in ninth grade I wasn't too much of a good kid, like rule following kid, honestly. But when I was placed in the advisory in 10th grade, they helped me come together and realize like it's so much more I can do for my life. I got so much more potential than what I seen in myself. So one thing I can say about Young Men United, it helped me change from a boy to a young man, and it helped me plan what I want to do with my future, what I'm capable of, and the potential that I do have.
Anything else you want to share? Because I know we don't have a lot of time, and I'm sure folks might have questions for you too.
Okay.
Anything else you want to share?
Yes, they place a lot of opportunities on our table that's just up for us to take. They give us everything we need. It's just up to us to work with whatever they got for us or utilize all their resources that they have for us. So they do a lot for us. They help us change from, again, they've taken some real troubled young men or young boys and turned them into young men, and they shaped them. They made something out of them.
Yeah. So thank you. You gonna hang out just for a minute or two. I don't know how long folks may have questions for you. I think what you should all be hearing is how all three of us who've just presented today, how we are working together in concert with the resources that we have to ensure that there is a mentoring ecosystem at our district and that our young people have, all of them, 100% of them have access. And so thank you, Christopher, for sharing just one part of it, a big part, because you're a big part. But we're talking about 77,000 young people. But thank you for your time. Don't go anywhere, though, in case someone wants to ask you questions. And thank you I will not put the slide deck up, but there's a thank you slide telling everybody thank you. So any questions? Because we want to know, how can the board help recruit, engage, and become mentors? That's what we want to know from the board. That's not for you, Christopher. That's for the board.
Gotcha.
Yep.
We appreciate it and the call to action. Love that. Uh, I want to open the floor for Commissioner Chiquis Guzman for any questions or statements before I add to or respond to that call to action.
I'm currently handling a personal matter right now. I will follow up with questions and with ideas to the call to action for sure, though. Thank you so much for your presentation and your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Holmes, I appreciate the presentation and the work. I don't have any questions for you. I do have a response, but I'll come back to you. I got to get to the young scholar here. I appreciate the presentation. You represented yourself extremely well. You represented your school extremely well. And I'm sure you've been there for a couple of years, so you remember one of your staff members, Miss OG.
Miss OG, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna give her a call and let her know you represent y'all well. So my question for you really is around what does an effective mentor look like? When we're trying to gather up and make sure that everybody has a mentor. I'm sure that there are some people who you connect well with and some people who you may not, or maybe it's everyone. But can you help us understand who we should be talking to when we're going out to recruit mentors?
Someone who shows that they're not here for anything else but for us. Like someone who can show you that they care. Someone who's productive, who's going to stick to their word and actually stand up to what they say or what they say that they want to do. So that's really, from my perspective, that's really all I would see in a mentor that would actually draw me to them. Like someone who's going to be there for me that I can trust to do something that they said they was going to do.
I appreciate that. Another question for you because I see that you're insightful and I want to take advantage of your excellence while you're here with us. There sometimes in mentoring, it can be tough for the adults to know that they that the young person actually is connected and trusted. And how can we, when we're talking and we're training these young people, I mean these potential mentors, that sometimes when I was young, I came with a very hard facade. And it didn't mean that I wasn't listening, and it didn't mean that I didn't connect with you. I just wasn't at a place of showing that at the time. It took a while for me to warm up to people. What would be some insight that you would give to a person who wants to be a mentor that's working with a young person who may internally love the fact that they have a mentor, but may not show it on their face?
Just be patient, honestly, because when it comes to like my age group of kids younger than me, like 17, 18 or under, they don't draw to people a lot, especially when they've been through things and they've been like in a place like Baltimore City and here. They just don't they're not going to draw to many different things because they've grown up with things that they can't attach to, or certain things or places that they know they can't go or attach to or trust, or people that they can trust. So honestly, it's just a patience game when it comes to teenagers, kids, young men, young boys.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your excellence, appreciate your insight. And Dr. Holmes, to answer your question, I'm going to come with another call of action. I'm going to ask a young scholar here to hopefully support me in the call of action that you put out to the board. I think that I would definitely welcome young Christopher here to come and speak at a board meeting and uh, ensure that all of the commissioners, one, hear the impact of the work that's being done. Two, to make a direct request that we all either become mentors now for those that are comfortable, but definitely go through the training so that we can be in a position to be able to spend our time and feed in, because we see the impact of the work through individuals like Christopher here. So I will make a commitment myself to go ahead and sign up and get active. And I want to be able to pull some other commissioners along with me. And I think that our young brother Christopher here can make the ask much better than probably I can.
So you in, Christopher?
Yes, ma'am.
Or you gonna talk to your management team and come back? Can we
Yes,
get a
ma'am.
deal? We shake on it. All right. Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you,
I
Christopher, for your time.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you guys for having me, for
Yeah.
allowing me to speak.
Yeah.
We appreciate your excellence, brother. And I want to thank everyone for today's committee meeting. It was certainly more than productive. It was inspiring. And as is our norm, we will close our session out with a quote that will hopefully hold on to uh, until our next session, but hopefully a little longer than that. The true measure of a school's strength is the number of students who know they belong. And today, you all displayed a level of work that ensures that this board knows that the work that City Schools is doing ensures that every student, no matter what their circumstance outside or inside of school, that they know they belong. Thank you for your work. Until next time, peace.